In order to understand smile fruits, we need to go over the basics of devil fruits. These mysterious fruits grant the user a specific set of powers upon consumption, which fall into one of three categories: Logias, which grant transformation and control over a specific element; Zone, which allows the user to transform between their original form, the animal form, and a hybrid form of the two; and Paramecias, which are pretty much supernatural abilities. And before there were smile fruits, there was an attempt to create the first artificial devil fruit. As far as we know, Dr. Vegapunk was the first to successfully replicate a devil fruit, specifically the Ua Ua no Mi model Azure Dragon, which belongs to Kaido. The result was a near-perfect imitation. The only extreme difference between these two fruits was the color. Kaido's dragon form is blue, while Vegapunk's is pink. And because of that, he deemed it a failure and hasn't replicated the devil fruit in this same manner again as far as we know. I mean, I get it though. It does seem like a small nitpick of Vegapunk, but the fruit is literally called Azure Dragon. If the copy doesn't have that signature blue hue, then sure, it's technically not an exact replica. But let's be real, color aside, from everything we've seen from this fruit, Vegapunk did an incredible job recreating Kaido's fruit. So much so that even after Vegapunk abandoned the project, his former associate, Caesar Clown, decided to continue this project, but with a key difference. He wasn't aiming for perfection like Vegapunk. All Caesar wanted was results, as he partnered with Don Quixote do Flamingo. Together, they enabled a mass production of artificial zone devil fruits, which came to be known as smile fruits. Now, here is where things start to get messy. Caesar's process relied on a chemical he created called SAD, or SAD, something only he knows how to create. A key ingredient of SAD is something called the lineage factor. The lineage factor is the blueprint of life found in all living organisms. So by manipulating the lineage factor, you can alter a being's physiology and even grant them powers. So Caesar had the idea to mix the lineage factor of multiple animals into SAD and then use it to cultivate smiles. In theory, when someone eats a smile, the lineage factor would modify their body, giving them traits of a specific animal. Sounds good, right? Well, not so much. One of the biggest downsides of smile fruits is that you have no idea what animal you might get, nor do you have any control in how they are manifested. If you eat a smile, you could end up with something useful, like wings or enhanced speed, but you could just as easily get stuck with a lion's face on your stomach. Since it's an artificial devil fruit, it has a distinct appearance compared to regular devil fruits. While regular devil fruits are identifiable by their swirly patterns, smiles have a more standardized look. They resemble apples, though I don't think they have to be apples. Doflamingo probably just found them to be the most convenient for mass production. They actually heavily resemble Vegapunk's artificial fruit, which had indigo skin with blue spots and green spots inside of those, while smiles are red with orange spots and yellow spots in the center. But not only do they look different, smile fruits actually taste good compared to Vegapunk's artificial fruit and natural devil fruits, which tasted disgusting. This raises the question, are the minor differences between artificial fruits a stylistic choice or a result of the different methods and how they were created? Both Vegapunk's artificial fruit and smiles use the lineage factor, but the way they use it is completely different. Vegapunk meticulously extracted Kaido's specific lineage factor to create a near-perfect replica of his devil fruit, while Caesar's process was a haphazard mix-and-match experiment that barely functioned as intended. In Caesar's case, he wasn't trying to create one-to-one copies of existing devil fruits. Unlike Dr. Vegapunk, who specifically wanted to create Kaido's devil fruit, Caesar's approach was much different. He didn't care about recreating devil fruits like raw Lucci's or any other specific zone fruit. Instead, he just mixed together the lineage factors of birds, mammals, insects, and whatever else he could get his hands on, hoping that something usable would come out of it. Because Caesar was just going after existing animals instead of extracting the lineage factor of other devil fruits, it doesn't seem like it's possible for there to be an ancient or mythical smile. These two classifications are of animals that went extinct a long time ago or never existed. And since Caesar is using the lineage factor of existing animals, he can only create smile fruits based on living animals. Now, zone devil fruits allow the user to transform into their original form, animal form, or a hybrid of the two. Smiles do not possess that same ability. Once the smile manifests, that is your permanent form. You can't return to your original form, nor can you go full animal form. You might take on a demented hybrid form at best. Smiles also come with a ridiculously low success rate. For every 10 smiles, on average, only one will grant the eater powers. So there's only a 10% chance that eating one of these smile fruits will manifest animalistic traits. So what about the 90% who don't get powers? What happens to them? Unfortunately, they suffer an even worse fate. You permanently lose the ability to express negative emotions. No sadness, no anguish, no pain. You're forced to smile and laugh, no matter how upsetting something has made you. Did your father die before your very eyes? Well, the best you can do is burst out laughing with tears rolling down your face. Pain, grief, and suffering have been overwritten, and it's extremely terrifying. This dangerous side effect is why these foods are called smiles. But here's the kicker. Whether you gain a power or not, you're still stuck with the downsides of devil fruits. You lose your ability to swim, and while it's never been stated, I would assume that you're locked out of eating another devil fruit. It might also be the case that once the smile user dies, the smile fruit does not reincarnate. But who knows, we have to see a smile fruit user die first. But smile fruits have an additional property which makes them even more terrifying. If you take a bite of a devil fruit, you will gain the powers of that devil fruit. So if you discard that devil fruit and someone else takes a bite of it, they're not going to gain the powers because you already have been imbued with the powers of that fruit. Smiles operate differently. Let's say you take a bite of a failed smile fruit, and then you throw it away. Not only are you forced to smile for the rest of your life, but anyone who takes a bite of that fruit will also suffer the same fate. Even if you're lucky enough to be a part of that 10%, you've hit the bootleg devil fruit lottery. But before you celebrate, there's a catch. Unlike normal zone users, smile users don't get full transformations. Instead, most of the smile users manifest their powers in the most bizarre and unnatural ways possible. Some of them are relatively tame, like your lower body becoming the lower body of a horse, but those are extremely rare. Most of the time, you get absolute monstrosities. And if that's not weird enough, it gets even stranger. Some smile fruit users manifest entire animals as a separate sentient entity, meaning that the animal has its own conscience and it can act independently. Smile powers are permanent. Once they appear, you can't deactivate them. Now, there are some exceptions. While some smile users can transform parts of their body, but it's not like they transform their arm into an animal's arm. For example, a sheep smile user can alter their hand into the horns of a sheep. I would say that this is the only perk smiles have over devil fruits. And unlike devil fruits, which there can only be one in existence at a time, smiles do not have the same limit. As long as more smiles are being made, you can theoretically generate an infinite amount of the same type of fruit. Even if two people eat the same type of fruit, their mutations can be completely different. One might get a gorilla for an arm, while another could get a gorilla growing out of their back. So while they ate the same type of fruit, the fruits manifested in different ways. Smiles may or may not give you abilities based on the animal you are inheriting. Batman gained the hearing of a bat, and Gazelle Man was granted the speed of a gazelle. However, Gazelle Man did not inherit the endurance of a gazelle, so he tired out fairly quickly. Then, you have some instances where you gain an ability which is foreign to the animal you're inheriting. Hold'em's lion can spit fire, and last I checked, lions can't spit fire. This next portion only applies to the beast pirates. Within Kaido's crew, those who have eaten or are scheduled to eat a smile fruit are divided into 3 categories. First up are the waiters. These people have not eaten a fruit and are waiting for their opportunity to present it with eating a smile fruit. Then there are the pleasurers. Those are the people who have eaten a smile but failed to gain an ability. Then the final group are the gifters. This group is comprised of those who ate a smile fruit, resulting in them gaining powers. And to wrap things up, I would like to briefly mention that smile fruits follow a different naming scheme than devil fruits, specifically zone devil fruits. Zone devil fruits are categorized as what's known as a series. This series divides the animals by species classification, and within that series, it divides it into models. For instance, there are several snake fruits. Obviously, there can't be more than one snake fruit, so to differentiate amongst these other snake fruits, there is a model. This model indicates that it's a specific type of snake. One model is Anaconda, one is King Cobra, and one can be Yamato no Orochi. So zone devil fruits can be very specific, as it all comes down to what type of snake you're going to transform into. Smiles are a lot more casual when it comes to their naming scheme. They simply put the name of the animal in front of the smile fruit. They disregard the species classification and go by the model of that animal. So someone who ate the white snake smile is simply going to call the fruit white snake smile. Despite how unreliable and horrific smile fruits are, their very existence proves just how valuable these fruits are. Even with a 90% failure rate, horribly mutated transformations, and permanent side effects, smile fruits were still worth mass producing. Doflamingo, a warlord of the sea, saw enough profit to supply them to Kaido, an emperor. That alone speaks volumes about how much in demand devil fruits are. People are willing to risk it all for these perverted versions of devil fruits. If you enjoyed the video, then please consider like, sharing, and subscribing. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, then let me know what you think in the comments. I'll catch you in the next one. Later.